Hi, it's Dan from EUJuicers.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Sana by Omega EUJ 808 vertical juicer. This is the latest model. This represents a significant step forward in vertical juicing technology. There's a few new ideas that have been incorporated into it. So let's take a closer look at this machine. The first thing you'll notice about the 808 is that it looks different than previous vertical juicers. Previous ones had a rounder aesthetic, almost like a blender, whereas this has a squared off look, more like an espresso machine. So the style is definitely different. It has integrated handles down here so you can move it around easily enough. And when you open up the box, here's what you get inside. We'll take this apart in a moment, but first of all, you have your instruction manual. Notice it is laminated on the cover, so if you're juicing, you spill some juice on it, it wipes right off, no problem. You have your standard juice pusher, also your standard brush. That's going to keep things clean for you. You have the new design of pitcher and pulp container. These are BPA free. They're also a lot bigger. This pulp container is the biggest one offered. The advantage of that, you don't want to be juicing and having to stop constantly to empty your pulp container. This lets you go a lot longer between breaks there. And then you have a full liter for your pitcher here. It's got an integrated lid. It's squared off a bit so it fits in your fridge a lot better. And then here's the coarse screen. This model comes with a coarse screen and a fine screen. We'll look at the fine screen in just a moment. And that's what comes in the box. So what's inside here? Let's take it apart and see all the bits we've got here. First of all, here's the feeding tube, the top assembly. I'll take the drum off here, and here is our twin-bladed auger. Here is our juicing screen along with the wiper blade assembly, and then here's our juicing bowl. So how is the 808 different? What makes this machine better than previous generations of vertical juicers? The first thing is the motor. The motor is now running at about half the speed. You have a 43 RPM motor. Previous vertical juicers ran at about 80. The difference there is it'll result in a cleaner juice, less chance of any heat or oxidation. Not that that was a real problem before, but the slower that you can go, the better quality your juice will be. Now you'd think, if it's running at half the speed, won't it take twice as long to get my juice? Not really. Look what they've done here. You have the auger now has two blades instead of one. Here's the previous version of the auger, single bladed. Two here means every rotation of the auger gets two cuts of your produce instead of one. So it equals out. You end up juicing at about the same rate. The auger is also made from the GE Ultim, like some of the previous ones. Hard, durable. Take a look at the juicing screen. I want to show you the juicing screen from previous models. You can see there inside, there's more plastic inside on these ones. There's also, on the older one, this little lip at the bottom. Not a big deal, but it makes it harder to clean. The new model has done away with that. It's completely smooth, much more stainless steel, so it's much easier to clean screen there. Now you have your wiper blades. Here's the previous wiper blades. They're about the same size. The wiper blades, they spin. This fits in here like this. And they just spin like cars' windshield wipers, constantly cleaning your screen, which is a great feature to have. It makes this machine really easy to clean. Notice one difference though. This has these little teeth at the bottom. Why does it have that? That's the old model. That's because on the old model, here's the new bowl, here's the old, there was a small gear you can see in here. That gear turns, and that's what turns the wiper blades. It's great, except if you look here, the inside portion of the bowl is where you have your pulp. The outside portion is where you have your juice. That gear is right in between, and sometimes the pulp would get pulled out into your juice. It makes for a less clear juice. What they've done here, they've eliminated that so you get a real clear, clean juice. Also, this is BPA free. It's bigger, 450 milliliters. Last ones were 300, so you've got 50% more juice. Has a stronger seal in the middle that's been redesigned, has a bigger juice pulp outlet, so things won't get clogged. And finally, like some previous models, you have a juice flap. This allows you to mix different juices together. You can juice some carrots, throw in some apples, put in some beets. It'll stir it all up for you. Then when you're ready, open it up, and you're ready with your juice. Now let's put it all together. See how easy it is to assemble this machine. The 808 assembles quickly and easily. First thing you do is you slide your juicing screen into the brush holder. Just slides right in. This pops into your bowl. There's 4 positions here, so it'll just drop in. Put in your auger. There's 2 notches on the top to line it up. Slides in. And then you just put your lid on. There's a little orange arrow here, and with this orange arrow, I line it up with an orange arrow here, so I know where to go, and I'm ready to juice. So let's start juicing with the EUJ 808, and let's start with pineapple. Pineapple is a great fruit to start with. It's delicious, but it also has a lot of health benefits. It's got a lot of vitamins. It has vitamin C. It has a whole complex of B vitamins. It has manganese for your bones. It has a really special enzyme called bromelain, which promotes digestion, has anti-inflammatory properties. So let's begin. We'll turn on the juicer here. Notice it's very quiet. Again, it's running at 43 RPM. You can barely hear it. Pineapple's a difficult fruit to juice with a lot of juicers. Let's see how the 808 does. I'll just feed it in. Again, it's basically self-feeding. You don't have to use the tube, the pusher in the tube. Again, it's operating at 43 RPM. You don't want to overload the machine. Just let it take it as it self-feeds. So very quickly, we've got a whole bunch of pineapple juice here. I'll shut the machine down. Also noticed in here those wiping blades keeping the screen very clean. Now I'll open the juice flap here, and here comes our pineapple juice. And let's pour a nice glass of pineapple juice here. Now that we finished with the pineapple, let's try something a little unusual. We're going to juice some red currants. Red currants are typically kind of difficult to juice. The consistency in them, the pectin in them makes it a challenge for a lot of juicers. We've put in the coarse screen. That'll make it a little easier on the EUJ 808. Now red currants, they're small berries, but they're very healthy for you. They're loaded with antioxidants. They've got vitamin C, vitamin B6, and they're one of the few fruits that has a lot of iron in it, so it's really healthy for your blood and your heart as well. Start it up, and you go ahead and juice it with the stems. That helps things move through just fine. Let's see how the EUJ 808 handles these currants. So we've got a nice full bowl here of currant juice. We'll go ahead and let it on in here. A little thick from the pectin in there. Looks very delicious. So here's a tasty glass of red currant juice. Notice how thick this is from that pectin in there. Nice, rich glass, almost like tomato juice consistency. Next on our list, we're going to juice some cucumbers. You might have heard the idiom as cool as a cucumber that we say when someone's relaxed. It's really true. It's because cucumbers are actually cooler. The center of a cucumber is about 20 degrees cooler than the outside temperature because of the high water content. Cucumbers make a mild, light juice because they're about 96% water. That being said, they do have some important vitamins and minerals in them. You have vitamin C, vitamin A, and they actually have an anti-inflammatory effect. That's why you see people sometimes in the spas, they put the slices on their eyes to reduce the puffiness. It's from the anti-inflammatory properties. These should juice up really easy, really fast, so let's get it started here. So there we have our cucumber juice. Let's go ahead and let it out. You can see how light and clear it is from all that water content. So we got a light, refreshing glass of cucumber juice. Now we're going to move along and juice some carrots. Carrots have a lot of beneficial properties. You've all heard of beta-carotene, which our body assimilates into vitamin A. It's really good for your eyes. It also has vitamin C, a lot of minerals. Carrots are really good for regulating the blood sugar level also. Now when we juice these carrots, we have to be a little careful with a vertical juicer because carrots are really hard. They have a lot of fiber inside, and it's possible if you overfeed, if you feed too fast, that you can jam your juicer. If you do, you just let it stop, switch it here to reverse mode for a second or two. That'll free everything up, and then you just continue your juicing. So let's begin. Now what you want to do is wait until you notice the pulp coming out, kind of stopping or slowing down. Then you know it's time to put in your next one. You don't want to just force them into the machine and overload it. Now like I said, it's possible with a vertical juicer to overload it with carrots. If you feed them too fast, if you let the big ones really drop in. And again, this has a feature, if it senses it's being overloaded, to protect the motor, it will stop, and then you'll just put it into reverse. So let's see if I can get this thing to overload. I'll put in some fat carrots, I'll feed them kind of fast. And we'll see if we can get this thing to activate its auto shut-off function. Seems to be handling the carrots really nicely. Doesn't want to overload. There we go. We finally got enough in there. So what do? Go into reverse for a moment. Let it stop, and we'll go forward. And let's give it a little bit of a break, not shove so many huge carrots in so fast. There it goes again. Because it's full of carrots right now. Go in reverse. Go forward. And let it just start working its way through the ones that are in there. Got a lot of juice in there. Let's go ahead and release it into the pitcher. And a glass of carrot juice. Next up, we're going to juice golden melon here. Golden melon is similar to a honeydew. It's got a darker rind. It's a little bigger around, but the flesh, the meat inside is real similar in flavor. All melons have a lot of water content again. They have vitamin C, and they also have a lot of potassium. So a lot of health benefits to these guys. This should juice really nicely because of the high water content. So our golden melon is all juiced. Like I said, it's really fast to juice these melons because of the water content. A tasty, cool glass of golden melon juice. Now we're going to juice a pomegranate. Pomegranate's one of the more difficult fruits to juice. mainly because of the work of getting all the seeds out, but it's worth it because of the health benefits of pomegranates. Pomegranate juice is kind of the rage now for all of the benefits they have, such as the blood thinning properties of it. It breaks up the platelets in your blood. There's been some studies showing it has some anti-cancer benefits as well. And some studies even say it can lower depression, improve your mood. So let's go ahead and start. I'll be using this ladle and crushing up some pomegranate seeds in the 808. So as you can see, the EUJ 808 made quick work of those pomegranate seeds. Let's go ahead and release it into the pitcher. And a healthy glass of pomegranate juice in just a couple of minutes. Now let's try juicing some leafy greens, moving away from the fruits for a bit. Leafy greens can be a challenge for a vertical juicer. They're best suited for horizontal, but we want to try it out with this new EUJ 808 and see how it works out. What we have here is spinach, which has been called by some the most nutritious vegetable out there. You know, it's high in iron, it's full of all kinds of vitamins and minerals. It also has those phytonutrients to help against cancer, against antioxidant properties. We also have romaine lettuce here. Has a lot of vitamin C, has some beta carotene actually in it. You wouldn't guess it from the green color. Has folic acid. So what we want to do, we're going to use the pusher, and we're going to be careful with this. And take this kind of slowly, and just see how the 808 can handle these. Normally, you would want to mix in with these things some sort of hard vegetable, like a beet or a carrot, celery root, something like that. That would help. We're going to try it just straight like this. So we've got all our spinach juiced here. Let's go ahead and release it. Spinach and romaine combination. Look at that dark green color. Here we'll have a concentrated glass of extreme nutrition. A lot of people think tomatoes are a vegetable. Of course, they're actually a fruit, and they work great for juicing. Tomatoes have a lot of health benefits. They have vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, and of course, lycopene is probably the most famous property, which is an anti-cancer property. And the best tomatoes to juice are the smaller ones, the cherry tomatoes, because they're harder, so they're easier. They have more of a hard surface for the juicer to eat into. We'll go ahead and start just popping some of these babies in here. So we're ready to let the tomato juice out of the EUJ 808. So you can see there's not a whole lot of pulp because tomatoes are mostly water. It produces a nice fine juice though. It's a nice refreshing glass of tomato juice. When I was a kid, my mom would often tell me the old saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And recent studies have found it's actually kind of true. Apples are highly nutritious. They're one of the highest sources of antioxidants of all fruits. They're high in vitamin A, vitamin C, and they also have a lot of vital phytonutrients. A lot of this nutrition is stored in the skin or just below the skin, so make sure you don't peel your apple before you juice it. And always look for a nice firm apple. That'll give you the best quality of juice. Apples sometimes with this slick skin can get a little slippery, so sometimes I'll use the plunger just to kind of help them along, get them started. So the EUJ 808 made quick work of those apples. And here we have a perfect drink for a nice summer day. Now we're moving on to probably the easiest fruit to juice, the orange. Oranges, of course, are high in vitamin C, got a high water content, make a great juice. Just about any juicer can make a good orange juice. Let's see how the 808 does. Should be no problem for it. Our orange juice is done and comes out real clean and clear. Made a great glass of orange juice here. However, it's kind of late in the afternoon. We decided, any juicer can make orange juice, but let's make something a little different. We have this extra red currant juice we made earlier today. Why don't we combine them with something a little special? So we decided we would make sex on the beach. That is a drink with vodka, peach schnapps, a little grenadine, normally cranberry juice, but why not use our currant juice and orange juice? So I'll be your bartender here, and we will start out with 1.5 ounces of vodka. There we go. Don't try this at home with the kids. Now we've got 3/4 of an ounce of our peach schnapps. Very healthy. And let's put in the good stuff. It's kind of thick. We'll give it a nice texture. Our orange juice. Again, 1.5 ounces of orange juice, 1.5 ounces of cranberry or currant juice. Put in a little bit of grenadine just to add a little extra kick there. Why not put in a little umbrella too, just to celebrate. And there you go, the coolest drink ever at eujuicers.com. I mentioned at the beginning of the video one of the nice features of the EUJ 808 is its self-cleaning feature. I showed you earlier how it has those blades that are constantly spinning and wiping down the juicing screen. But what you can also do to self-clean it, especially if you're doing several different juices, if you don't want to take the thing apart and clean it each time, which is a pretty simple process, you can actually just turn it on, put water in, water will spin through, you'll see it cleaning, and then you'll drain the water right back out. Let me show you how that works. So I just turn it on, make sure that the nozzle there is closed, the juice flap. You don't want to overfill it, but you get up near the top. That should be enough there. Just let it run for a few seconds. You can see it already, the water's getting darker, it's pulling some of the pulp and the leftover juice bits out. And then just open it up. You see how that's a lot darker, and if you can see inside here, it's actually much cleaner. And if I was going to juice some other things, some apples, some carrots, I could just start right now. I don't have to take it apart. I'm ready to go. Just empty this here, empty this water, put it back, and we're ready to start. But let's take it apart, and I'll show you how easy it is to clean, actually. First thing you want to do, we have the cleaning brush. It has this nice tapered end here, and you can use that just to get all the excess pulp right into your pulp container here. That'll make things a little easier in a moment. Then we just lift it up, come over to the sink here, and there's just a few parts to clean. So what I'll do is most of these things you just need to rinse off, really. So I'll rinse off the feeding tube. I'll dry them all after. Then I'll lift out the auger. You'll notice sometimes with the pulpy juices, you'll have a lot of pulp here. You can just get most of it out with your finger. This one's pretty clean right now from the self-cleaning. So with this, no need to really brush it. There's nothing stuck to it. You're just rinsing it off. Next, I'm going to take out the wiper blade assembly, as well as the juicing screen. We had the coarse screen in there before. Oh. And what I'm going to do, I'll rinse off the wiper blades. And that's got any last bit of orange juice off. You can see this is pretty clean already. What I'm going to do is take the brush and just get any last bit of pulp. I'll rinse it. There's not much in there. A few tiny bits. You want to make sure you get it all off so you always have a nice clean juicing screen to start with. That's all ready to go. Last thing we have left is our juicing bowl. You notice some of the rind, some of the pulp that was inside here is now there. We'll just rinse that right out. And the other thing you do that makes it a lot easier to clean, down at the bottom here we have our little rubber seal that we can pop open. And then you can just run some water through there. That gets almost all the pulp out. If there's any little bits still in there, you just take your tapered edge, pop it out like that. But really it's mostly just some quick rinsing, letting it dry. Make sure you pop this back in. You don't want to mess a leakage otherwise next time you're juicing. And that's it. They're clean, ready to dry. It's a real fast, simple process. So since the Sana EUJ EUJ 808 has done such a good job on all these things, we decided to kind of try something outside of the normal. This isn't in the recipe book. This doesn't come in the manual. But since it's been doing so well, why not try something else? What we want to do is make kind of a yogurt smoothie hybrid. What we have here is some plain white yogurt and then some fresh strawberries, fresh blueberries. I'm going to put the yogurt in and just add these, see what we get. So let's throw in some of these strawberries. How's it looking? Oh yeah, look at that color. Add some of these blueberries as well. Maybe a bit more yogurt. A lot of verticals you couldn't do this. The only reason we can is because of this juice flap here. It's keeping everything inside. It's mixing them right now. Don't want to overfill it, so our glass only has so much space. So, let's take a look, see what we have. It's got a nice light consistency, lighter than the yogurt was. So a nice, fast yogurt smoothie. A lot of people don't like using milk or dairy products. Perhaps they're lactose intolerant, or maybe they're just vegan and they don't want to use those products. And there's some alternatives out there. One of the best ones is almond milk. Almonds are high in several vitamins and nutrients. It's high in calcium, high in magnesium. It's good for your blood. And we're going to show you how you can make your own almond milk using the EUJ 808. Basically what you want to do is get some raw almonds, soak them at least 6 hours in water. That'll soften them up. It'll help the process go a lot easier. And then you'll add them here with about an equal part water, just slowly, bit by bit. And because we have the juice flap, we can keep it closed and it will extract and mix things together a lot better. Let's go ahead and begin. So I'll put in a little bit of almonds and I'll follow it up with water. And a little more almond, a little more water. You can control how thick you want your almond milk to be by how much water you put in. Notice how dry these flakes are coming out here. One thing you'll want to keep in mind, this dried almond flakes that come out of here, they're actually very useful. My wife uses them in bread, makes delicious biscuits, even cookies with this stuff. So you don't want to throw this out. It's really useful. Let's go ahead and take a look at our almond milk. So in just a few minutes, plus 6 hours of soaking, you've got your own homemade almond milk. So that's our first look at the new Sana EUJ EUJ 808 vertical juicer. This is the newest, latest technology, the newest generation of vertical juicers. You can see we had success with everything we tried. The advantages of this unit and vertical juicers in general are obviously it takes up less counter space than a long horizontal juicer. They tend to be easy to operate. They're best for people who want something that will work really well on soft fruits and things that other juicers have trouble on, things like pineapple or the red currant that we did earlier. This handled that no problem. Another benefit, of course, is because of our juice flap, we can mix drinks in there. That works out really well, and it also makes a really good, perfect almond milk, actually. So if you have any more questions about this juicer or any of the others we offer, we encourage you to come to our website. That's www.eujuicers.com. Thanks for watching.